Here in Photoshop, to find out how big your file is, you can go to Image from the top menu. I'm going to zoom in. Image from the top menu. And then you can go to Image Size. And Image Size window shows up here. And it tells me how many pixels. I have 640 pixels by 513 pixels. And if I assign 240 pixels in 1 inch, my output size is going to be only really small, 2.6 by 2.1 inches. If I assign different number of resolutions, for example, say I'm going to show this on the monitor, then I'm going to uncheck the resample and change the resolution to 72. If I assign 72 pixels in 1 inch, my output size is going to be almost 9 inches by 7. If I assign 300 pixels in 1 inch, then I will make even smaller size. If I assign 1 pixels per inch, then it's obvious that my dimension is going to be 640 inches by 513, but I don't really get the information that I probably won't get at this point. Let me just show you why I unchecked this resample. If I click onto sample, right? And right now it's 72 pixels in 1 inch. Output size is 9 by 7. But I decided, well, I'm going to make prints, so I need 300 pixels in 1 inch. See what happened first in my preview. It's a lot more, it's a lot larger file, but then it's blur. Well, really, I lost a detail. Also, another thing I would like you to look into here is image size changed. It was only not even 2 megabyte, but now it is 32.6 megabyte. Pixel numbers increased. What happened by checking on the resample is Photoshop is interpreting the pixel that didn't exist. That's why it looks somewhat kind of blurred. Photoshop created those pixels for you, basically. Guessing the tones and colors based on the original information.
Why would you ever want to do that then?
You don't want to do that.
Why do they make it an option?
Well, there is limitation in the world, and sometimes you get smaller file size that needs to be upsized. But if you upsize it and lose the information, well, I think you have to think about the give and take there.
You can use it like on the to uncheck or recheck resample in terms of downsizing too.
Right, downsizing, you can do that. So if you look at the resample check, and this is an automatic resample, but there is a different kind of way to interpret and increase or decrease the pixels. So you can choose a different kind of ways to resample, and depending on this, sometimes the resulting image changed, right? From here to preserve detail to making it smoother. So those are enlargement. And then if you are making it smaller, then there is only one option. What you can learn from this is that this is a gross, really large step from one size to another. It's almost, I don't know how many percent. It's too big of a change. But if you're talking about a slight enlargement, this would work. Okay. Here you go. You go to File from the top menu to figure out how big your output size should be. You should go to File from the top menu and New. I'm using this as not creating the new file, but as a calculator. And once you go to create a new document window, there is a section here that you can punch in information to. So Cheryl, I have a question. So you are on assignment and you're asked to create certain image. Just come up with the output size for me. How big your picture is going to be outputted. Just give me any kind of numbers. 11 by 19. And where is it going? What is your output? Is it going to be on the billboard? This is not a billboard side. Is it going to be printed? Is it going to be a huge monitor or printed? So the resolution, if we know it is printed, then the resolution would be what? 300. Thank you. 300. So that's good already. And is it a color image? Okay. Then what kind of bit depth should we choose? Uh-oh. Do we see even more than 16? 32. Why I didn't mention that. 30. Don't you think 32-bit should have more information than 16-bit? That's a good question too. The printer cannot handle 32-bit information. Photoshop, some of the Photoshop option would not handle 32-bit information either. You probably have heard of HDR, high dynamic range image, right? And you photograph one scene with different exposures, darker and then normal and then lighter, and then you combine them. That actually, high dynamic range, high HDR image is 32-bit. But then in order to do a adjustment after creating the HDR, that 32-bit needs to be downsized to 16-bit anyway. So you don't really want to go for 32-bit. But I'm going to go to 16-bit. And I will create it. I just created this image that Cheryl is going to put the picture on. And I'll take a look at the bottom. At the bottom of the window, there is a section. And if you click onto this, there are lots of hidden information too. But document size. So in order to create 11 by 16 output for print, inkjet printing purpose in color, you should have your scan made at almost 110 megabyte. That's what you need. So this is what you can find out. And knowing that number is extremely important. Okay, so just go File, New, punch in the numbers of the output, and then find out how big your file should be. So if I were to have 8 by 10 output, then 41.2 megabyte. That is at 16-bit. So you just need to use this as a calculator, finding out how big your scan should be. Okay? Questions at this point? Let's take a short break and then come back here, and then I'll show you how to use the scanner then. Okay? So I'll start around 5:30.